What is going on? Birds of a Feather, A2D Radio, Thursday night yet again. Make sure you listen. Guys, regular season is almost here. So let's get to it.
Oh my God! I'm embarrassed! You're flying!
Welcome in. It's almost time.
Further on A2D Radio, brought to you by Basjo's Bread in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, home of the best stuffed breads, tomato pie, sandwiches, cutlets, and meatballs. Make sure you mention A2D Radio for 10% off your in-store purchase. We are live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitter, and wherever you download your podcast. So if you're listening to us live right now or on your commute, we greatly appreciate the support. It's a bit of an abbreviated, little bit of a shortened Birds of a Feather tonight. Mr. Pete Evans and Jake Field are out this week on vacation before the football season starts. But PY and I were still hanging in there. I go on vacation next week. We don't have a show next week. So this is our last show before we hit September and before we hit the week of the NFL season. So, PY, it's just me and you tonight. What's up, my man? How are you? You still breathing? You still chugging along?
Yes, but I'm exhausted. My coworker got COVID, which means I'm the only person in my department, which means no day off for me this week.
That's crazy.
Back to back 11-hour days. So
that's crazy. Yeah. I don't blame you. So you'll get a good night's rest tonight because we're gonna have like I said, a short show tonight with just me and you, and we're gonna just give our live reactions to the preseason game tonight, what we've seen so far, and
they have a game.
Yeah, there's a game. Unfortunately, it isn't regular season yet, but it's almost there. We'll talk about it, and then we'll get into No Huddle and we'll end the night. But before we get into that first segment, it is brought to you by Alonzi Travel, specializing in creating the vacation of your dreams at Disney, Universal, or wherever your heart calls you. Let their talented team of travel experts create a custom vacation for you. Make sure to reach out to me or Andy Ritter to start your dream vacation now. All right, PY, our poll question for tonight, and I think it's a good one because both me and you are high on each of the starters or the projected starters at safety Eagles. So you feel comfortable with the Eagles safety starters as they are now. Agree or disagree? Mr. Reed Blankenship and Mr. Sidney Brown are projected to be the starters as far as we know heading into the season. So what do you think? Are you okay with them as starters heading into the season? Or would you prefer, because, Howie Roseman still could absolutely make a trade next week after cutdown day, would you prefer to trade for another safety if a good one is available?
No, I'm 100% comfortable with this room. I really like Reed Blankenship. I think the fact that he's barely played this preseason, and the fact that he's showed out in practice just tells you everything you need to know about his development and what they think about him. Sidney Jones not Sidney Jones. Sidney Brown. Sidney Brown is all over the place. He's a heat-seeking missile. He knocks you on your butt. He's decent. I like him in coverage. I think he's a thumper. I think he's going to be a lot of fun. Terrell Edmonds is solid, and then Kayvon Wallace is whatever Kayvon Wallace is. It's not a room that has the most experience, but it's a room I'm fine with. It's not like the linebacker room to where it's I have Nakobe Dean, who I feel good about, and then I have guys.
Yeah.
They are linebackers. That is correct. I just have no feeling towards them whatsoever. Other than Nakobe Dean.
I hear you.
Whereas with the safety room, like I feel good about it. Like I've seen people be like, oh, they gotta go make a trade for safety. I said, who's out there that you want? Like that's not Buda Baker. Like if you go out and you get Buda Baker, that's a different story. Like I'm high as hell on that safety room then. But where we stand right now, I don't really need. Would I like Buda Baker? Sure. Do I need Buda Baker? I don't think so.
I think I'm pretty much with you. Like the question as we framed it, you feel comfortable with the Eagles safety starters, and yeah, I feel comfortable with it. And I was more hesitant with Reed Blankenship going into this season as a projected starter, only because like I just to me he didn't show enough to automatically be handed the job. You know what I mean? Like I still wanted a good enough safety room to where he had to compete and prove himself that hey, like he deserves and earns the starting safety job. The fact that they brought in a solid safety in Edmonds and then drafted Sidney Brown, which we all know how high I was on Sidney Brown. So the fact that they added those two and Reed has shown to be, he's pretty much like, I guess you can say like he's been the one that has played the least in preseason, meaning like he's outplayed them. He's earned a starting spot. I'm comfortable with it. I'm fine. Do I think Reed Blankenship is going to light the world on fire? I do not, but I think that, he's going to be just fine. And I think that Sidney Brown is going to be making a lot of plays this year. There are going to be rookie hiccups. There's going to be rookie mistakes, especially at the beginning of the year. That's going to be expected. We have to absolutely expect him to make rookie mistakes. That's you're naive if you don't think he's going to mess up here and there. But you go along with it. I think with the talent that we have on the roster overall, you can afford to have him make those rookie mistakes early and learn on the fly. So I'm completely fine with what we have at safety with Sidney Brown and Reed Blankenship. If under the assumption that those are the starters, would I love a trade for a safety to upgrade? Yeah, of course I would love that, and I'd be very open to it. I've been consistent the past few weeks saying that, if one is there, make that trade. But if not, I'm good with who we have. I'm good with those two. So I agree to the poll as well. Let's get to the chat. We've got Mr. Jake Friel, the other Birds with Feather host. He says, "What's up, my guys? Safe to assume Eli Ricks will make the team."
Yes.
He says, Chris Kaufman. He says, K must have had 4 or 5 drop balls by now. Eric Williams asks, Maddox/Williams make the team?
No, I didn't even know who that was.
It's funny because we have Avonte Maddox and we had Greedy Williams. So I'm like, at first,
I assume they put like 2 players together.
Like, is there a Maddox Williams on the team? There is, right?
I think they signed a crap ton of players just for this game because all the starters weren't playing. Like none of the players who matter. Like if you played in this game, you it's either rest assured you're at the bottom of the roster or you're not making this team.
Yeah. If there's a player named Maddox Williams, which I think I did see one, then no, he's not making the team. But if you're talking about Avonte Maddox and if you're talking about Greedy Williams was already cut. Avonte Maddox, there's no way they're cutting him. So no. I'm assuming you mean the former. You're talking about one single player.
Is going to make the team.
Yeah. We'll get to that. Hold on. Ryan Swope says linebackers are way more of a problem than safeties. The short yard pass defense of the linebackers on the crossing routes and the out routes are horrific. I'm fine with the secondary and down the field coverage. Also says when the DTs aren't getting sacks and pressure, the linebackers need to be a I don't know what he means. Meet to cover the short passes on crossing routes and out routes. We saw in the Super Bowl when the Eagles didn't get one single sack how horrific the short coverage of the linebackers were. Yeah, and he corrected himself saying be able to. Need to be able to cover the short. Gotcha. And then Brian Wilson says, "What's up, boys?" And then we also we go back to Jake Friel's comments. Eli Ricks will make the team. Yeah, like he's. Yo, PY. The starters for the Colts were in.
Yeah, and he was locking their asses down.
Eli Ricks was playing against Michael
Pierce and Pittman.
Yeah. And
these
he
aren't
was
just
doing
like
a good
middle
job.
of the road wide receivers. These are good wide receivers, starters.
Yeah, I don't see at this point, like, I don't see how he doesn't make the team, because if you
He
cut
has
him,
to because
if
he's
you
not
cut
making
him,
it through waivers.
yeah, he's not making it through waivers. He's not making it to the practice squad. You have to keep him.
So they
You
were
have to
talking
keep him.
about. So they talked about this on Locked On Browns, which is one of my favorite podcasts to listen to
Mhm.
where it doesn't really matter who you think makes the team. The thought process right now needs to be, who do you think is not making it through waivers? That's the guy who needs to make the squad. Even if he doesn't stay there and you sneak him onto the practice squad, there's no way in hell you're sneaking him through waivers.
Yeah, there's no way. Yeah, there's no way. It's like him and McKee. Like, if you cut them, they're gonna get picked up.
I think Gardner, I think there's a chance he could fit through waivers. I don't think there's any chance that Ricks does. It's the same thing with Goodrich. I like Goodrich, but I think you can sneak him on the practice squad.
Yeah, I think the two are McKee and Ricks. I think if you cut McKee, which I don't expect them to, but like I'm saying because, like, if they went out and said Mariota is going to be the backup, so if they were hypothetically to cut McKee and only try to keep two QBs on the roster, I think McKee would be picked up, and I think Ricks would be picked up as well.
I don't see them cutting McKee. I think they're going to carry 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, same. Even though McKee's a third, I think he's shown enough to where, like, hey, you can't put him to the practice squad. You have to keep him. You have to keep him. So I like that. I know there was another comment by Chris Kaufman. I know me and you kind of went into it beforehand. He said, did someone play his way off the team? I think that you said he sucked. I think that he didn't play great, but he wasn't horrible either. Like, I think that he showed pretty decent vision. He showed some power on some runs. Like, the numbers aren't great, but on that touchdown run, even the run before that, he showed good vision. And some of these runs, like, there's nowhere to go. So, like, I've been watching them. I'm like, yeah, like, a handful of these runs, I mean, like 3 or 4, there really is nowhere to go on the runs. There's no room. So can't do anything when there's no blocking.
But we knew he needed a big game if he was going to make the squad.
You need a big game if one is there for you. So I think that he's done well. Like I said, he hasn't played great, but he also hasn't been horrible. So he hasn't played a great enough game to say, like, oh yeah, he's definitely going to make the team now over Penny. I think that he's been solid, but with that type of performance, he's already, like, the chances are already against him. So I don't think he's helped himself. Does that make sense? Like,
I think he's hurt. That's really what needs to be said. I think he's hurt. I think he needs to sit for the year.
I don't think he's hurt.
No, he's not hurt. That's a joke.
Oh, you're talking about Phantom IR. Okay.
Oh, man, his back is something. That's what we did for Mailata for 2 years.
God. Oh my God. Ryan asks, how do your guys' fantasy teams look? So I have 4 dynasty leagues, and I'm good with all of them. I mean, I won the championship in one league, and two other leagues I've been building, but I've had, like, really, really big draft hauls with them. And then my 4th league, I just started. So we just did the thing, and I'm good with it. So, oh, hey, it's Minshew. So, yeah, in terms of fantasy, I've been set to go. Like, we had our drafts months ago because it's a dynasty league. So my roster's set pretty much. Do you play fantasy? I forget.
I do. I'm not good at it.
Oh,
I also don't have the attention span. If I'm not doing well in the first 3 weeks, or even like I lose a game, I'll just be like, I'm done. Like, my attention span is just like, I'm out.
Yeah.
They tried to get me to do it at work, and I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, how much is it? It's like $50. I'm like, hell no. I said, A, that's too much money for me for fantasy, and B, I said, you don't want me in your league because, like, by week 2 or 3, I might lose interest.
Yeah, I hear you. Philly sports with Big says, imagine taunting at a crowd in a preseason game. # bust. I saw some people react to that. Like, I don't care. Like, I personally, I really don't care. Like, if he wants to taunt, just have fun. Like, like you said, it's a preseason game, but like that's my point. Like it's a preseason game. Like
let's be real. If that was Tanner McKee, you'd be pumping him so hard it wouldn't even be funny.
Yeah, yeah. He's
Oh my God! Look at his sportsmanship and his dedication to winning.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think it's. I think Philly fans that are complaining about it are a little. They have their pennies up in a bunch, a little bit too much. Like it's not that big of a deal. He's
having a little fun. Also, one thing people are forgetting is that they've been practicing against each other all week long, and the defense have been running their mouths a little bit. Like, come on, like.
Yeah. They had a fight. A fight broke out the other day with them. So I mean,
Training game well said live on air. Yeah, we whooped that ass.
Yep. So of course the heat's going to be, the animosity's going to turn up a little bit. So it's, let them have fun. Yeah, they got to relax a little bit. You know what I mean? It's
sound like freaking baseball fans. Oh my God, he's not adhering to the magical rules of Narnia. Ugh.
Philly sports does say, "Oh, I'm not complaining. It's totally a joke." Gotcha. I hear you. Yeah, I just thought it was funny.
But that's all I'm seeing on Twitter right now. It's just a joke. Like, it's preseason. Who gives a crap? Like, I don't care. Like, let the kid have fun. Like,
yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure there have been worse players that have done worse during a preseason game. So it's all good. It's all good. I'm surprised. So Isaiah McKenzie's playing. I thought he got hurt, but apparently he's fine. So that's cool. I'm saying that's cool. I honestly thought he had a serious injury, but
same.
Yeah, I guess he's fine. So good for him. I know that he's trying to like compete for that like wide receiver 3 spot on the roster with that rookie Josh Downs. So they do want him to contribute a good amount. Pro Fan Talk, Marcus says, "What's up?" Hey, what up, Marcus? If you guys didn't catch Marcus, make sure you catch him every Thursday, 7 p.m. Before we go on. Well, now that I brought that up, let's talk about this, PY. So let's let the fam know now. So this will be the final show for Birds of a Feather on Thursday.
Quit!
We will be officially moving to Tuesday nights. I'm sorry. We're moving from Thursdays back to what we originally were on Tuesday nights during the week. Our original spot. So, like I said earlier in the show, next week there is no show. We're taking a break before the season, and then we get it rolling on September 5th. Our debut on Tuesday nights, our re-debut on Tuesday nights. We'll be back, us four, and then I also expect a sort of a revamped show. We've got some exciting changes for this show coming up this season. We're all really, really, really excited for it. And I think that, I think you guys will enjoy what we have in store for you, the fam, and for the show. It's going to be an exciting way to, bring you content every single week. So we're really excited. I know that we were talking about it. Jake and Pete, they've got a lot of stuff planned for themselves as well on the show, and then we got something planned for PY, and yeah, all of us, we're so excited for what's coming forward. So, PY, I don't know if you've had anything to add to our move on to Tuesday nights.
I just think if me and Jake we do 2 more moves, we'll get like a free T-shirt at this point. Because we will have been on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday.
There you go. Trying to play bingo with.
we're going to be the supernatural of A2D, where we're on it. We've been on every slot,
every single night. Let's see. So Minshew's moving the ball down the field. So Marcus says Sidney Brown just whiffed. He's gonna whiff on some stuff. We just talked about rookie mistakes. He's gonna
a rookie whiffs. Yeah. No, I never
whiff on some tackles. Philly Sports says, "What's your guys' reaction to some players walking away at a young age? First, Myles Jack, and now Corey Davis." I think that with Myles Jack, he just wasn't the same. He had that major knee injury. I forget what year it was. I don't know if you remember. People
2 years ago.
And he's just never been able to regain that same athleticism that he was known for before. And when that's the case, and you're lost on the depth chart, you're a late free agent pickup to camp, and you're playing with the third strings. I think like you kind of like some players you come to the realization that like you're not what you were before, and so with some players you just
He's cooked.
yeah you're cooked, and there's no shame in that. Like Myles Jack had
Respect.
a good career, very good career,
That's
and
beautiful.
he was one of the best linebackers at the time. So like there's no shame in it. It's your body. If you feel like you've done enough, kudos to you. And then same with Corey Davis. And I think that like it's crazy because we all I'm pretty sure you said it before in the chat. We all had high expectations for Corey Davis when he was drafted. I think that draft 2017, he's the one pick that I wanted the most at 14.
Yep.
He obviously didn't make it, but
we all thought he was going to be there. Nobody, and I mean nobody, expected him to go that early.
Yeah, I was hearing rumors of him possibly going earlier, but like I didn't think they were going to. I thought the likelihood of him being there at 14 was still like 60-70%. But yeah, Tennessee took him, and yeah, like he had a couple good years with Tennessee.
Yeah.
But he went over to New York and he wasn't able to continue that momentum, and it is what it is. But I think that with Corey Davis he still had another solid career for a wide receiver. High expectations, didn't live up to them, but when you look at still what he was able to do in the league, it still was a respectable career. So best of luck to both of them. And I hope they have success in the next stage of their life. As with every other football player that retires, it's next part of your life. So what are you gonna do next? The Colts just scored. Gardner Minshew led them to a touchdown. I can't even tell who's in right now for defense for the Eagles. Are there any like starters? I think Sydney is still in.
No,
I can't tell.
I don't think any of them matter.
So Philly asked, so who's the starting safety next to Blankenship? I think we assume it's going to be Sydney.
It's Sidney Brown.
Yeah,
they need a cool nickname.
What would you think? What would you?
Because I know they talked about how they call what's his name, Milk.
Who call it Reed? They call it Reed.
They call him Milk.
Did they really?
Yeah, like Milk.
Yeah. I didn't know they call him Milk.
Well, I prefer the Great White Hope or Ed Reed Blankenship.
I know.
People like give him other names. And I'm like, it's the Great White Hope, okay? Like, stop this. Like, the Great White Hope is fun and silly. Like putting Ed Reed into his name, I'm just like, you're killing me, dog.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't like that Ed Reed Blankenship one. That's a little too much. Great White Hope is funny, but I think you're the only person that I've heard say that.
Yes, I know. That's why I anytime someone says it wrong, I correct them in their tweet.
Oh my god. Let's see, what else can we cover for the Eagles? Let's do a little exercise then. Let's do so with this being the last preseason game.
Thank God.
Who do you heading to the season? Let's see. Who would you say if you were to pick? Who would you say is going to be someone that's kind of someone who's obviously going to make the roster, but heading into the season, who's flying under the radar for you? Let's start on offense. Who's someone who's flying under the radar that you think actually could make a bigger impact than what most of us, and the fans and media are expecting, I guess is the word to say. You know what I mean? Like who's going to be better than what we expect pretty much this season.
So I don't think this should count, but I'm going to try it anyway. Kenny Gainwell.
Okay.
I actually think he's my rationale. Because I think a lot of people, a lot of fans are expecting Rashad Penny and DeAndre Swift to take most of the fanfare. Like they're expecting more from them than Gainwell. And I think Gainwell could surprise a lot of people and be their best runner, along with their best pass catcher. Like I think he could be a secret weapon for them. Like
I don't know if I'd go that far, and I think hearing from the media and fans, I think most people now put Gainwell in the forefront. So I don't think that Marcus says, Chucks, you asked this on purpose. I did not ask. I didn't know he was going to pick up Gainwell. I even said Gainwell wouldn't count because he's not flying under the radar. Like I think we all have now expectations that he is going to be one of the main starters. I think I've said it. Like it's going to be him and Swift. Those are the two main guys. I think most people now, based on how preseason training camp has played out, I think most people assume that what's his face that Rashad Penny is going to be like the 3. You know what I mean? Like the main 2 guys are going to be Swift and Gainwell. So I wouldn't count him as flying under the radar. I think that he is going to have an impact. Will he be the best pass catcher? No, I think that Swift is the best pass catcher. Will he be now when it comes to the run game? DeAndre Swift is definitely without a doubt the more explosive. He's the more explosive runner. He's going to make more big plays than Gainwell does. But I think Gainwell is the more proficient and efficient runner between the two. So I think Gainwell, when they need consistency to keep, stay ahead of the change, I think that's going to be Gainwell. They're going to look to Gainwell to do that. And especially on some money downs, you know what I mean? Like the third down and red zone, they trust him. They showed they trust him last year. So he's going to continue having that role because he excels in that role. But I think when it comes to, if they're looking for big plays, if you're looking for, someone who's going to be dangerous wherever he's on the field, someone who's going to really have an impact, who they're going to lean on in the passing game from the running back position, it's going to be Swift. So again, I think both of them are going to be the 2 main guys in this committee. I think if I were to, I will. Okay, so let me get back to the running back spot. If we're going to talk about people that are flying under the radar that could make an impact, I think it's going to be Cam Jurgens. I think Cam Jurgens damn, I have 2 people I want to mention, but I think Cam Jurgens wins the right guard spot.
I think Cam Jurgens, that's over.
What's up?
I think that's over.
In what way?
He's had it locked up for a while now.
Yeah. So I don't think so. Like he has it locked up. Go Sermon. I think that. Oh, he's hurt.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, he's not. He's fine. I think he's talking about the hold. Someone was holding. So it's coming back. But I think that he's going to really play very well. Outside of him, the other guy I was going to mention, I think Zacchaeus is going to have an impact. I think Zacchaeus is going to be that wide receiver 3. And I'm definitely not saying that he's going to get like 800 yards receiving. I'm not saying that.
Do you not believe in players?
What I'm saying is when they need another wide receiver to make a play here and there on every once in a while on games, Brooks does not. Brooks, I could have. I said since he was in that draft last year, Brooks cannot catch. Brooks does not have receiving ability, and there's 2 drops already on him.
No good.
Zacchaeus, yeah, I think what you saw out of Quez last year when there were every few there were a couple of plays like during a game when you would need him to make a play, right? And I think that'll be Zacchaeus. I think Zacchaeus will be that person where, hey, we need someone else to step Devontae and AJ and Dallas Goedert to step up and make a play here. I think Zacchaeus will be that person. So I'm very excited for him. Let's flip it. Let's talk about someone who is going to disappoint. Who do we think was going to disappoint heading into the season and not have as much of an impact as we originally thought? I'm going to start, and I'm going to say, going back to the running back position, I think it's Penny. I don't think Penny is going to have as big of an impact as we initially thought when we signed him. Because remember when we signed him, we were like, oh, he could be like the feature guy here, but now he's not. And when you've seen him play, like he looks good, but I think he doesn't look as explosive. He doesn't have as much juice as we're used to seeing from him. I don't know if it's a case of he's still not fully healthy, or if those injuries now have stacked up to where he's not the same anymore. So I don't know, but I think that he's going to make the team, but I don't think he's going to have that impact this season as we originally thought he would when we signed him.
I think when we signed him, though, like the expectation was, oh my God, he's could be like running back run. But now that you got Swift in there, like I don't even think he's going to disappoint in that sense, because like if we didn't have Swift, I think you would be right. But now he's kind of like inserted himself as running back 3. Anything you get out of him, like additional, like good stuff, is great in my opinion. Like I don't think you need him to be that guy. Like
we don't need him to be.
Now he can be that nice complementary piece that you want.
If he lasts, if he lasts.
As I've said before, you get 6-8. If you get more than 6 games out of him, you won.
Yeah. And I think my point is that like a lot of people, because like when he was healthy, you know this, like we've talked about it. Like when he was healthy, he's been one of the best running backs in the league. So I think when we signed him, a lot of people, and there are still people I talk to online that still believe Penny's the best pure runner on this team. So they are expecting him to really do well, but I don't know. I just don't see it at this point. I think it's obviously between Swift and Gainwell. They're the main 2 guys in this backfield. Is there anyone else outside of him, like on offense, that you think is going to disappoint?
Quez.
So on the flip side of Zacchaeus, yeah, which makes sense.
I just like I see everyone. Everyone all off seems like, oh man, he's gonna turn it around this season. It's the Quez Watkins revenge tour and all this stuff, and I'm just like, they're like, oh well, he was hurt last year. That's what it was. I'm like, oh okay. So when he's fumbling, it's the injury. When he's not like stretching for the ball, it's the injury. I'm like, just maybe this is just who he is. Like. So in the 2 of his 3 seasons, he's had small showings, and then the one season where they force-fed him balls because Jalen Reagor was dog shit, he had a crap ton of yards. Like he didn't have a lot of touchdowns, but he had the yards. Like yeah. I think Quez is great if you're going to him like deep routes every once in a while, and a few like screens behind the line of scrimmage. I'm cool with those plays. I don't want Quez Watkins having large plays. Like go to him like back to back to back. I just don't see it. I don't think it's smart, especially considering all the talent that you're going to have on this team. I think Zacchaeus takes his spot, and I think he's more useful.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think Zacchaeus overtakes Quez, but at the same time, I think I do want to believe, and I do think there is a chance Quez does. I think he's still going to be on the roster, obviously, and I think there are going to be some moments throughout the season where he's going to be called upon, and I think that he will step up. I want to believe in Quez, and I want to believe that he is going to do better. I don't think he's going to make more of an impact as Zacchaeus, but I still think he is going to make some plays this season that will help toward his him having a bounce back here.
So low, like you have no place else to go but up.
I wouldn't say that. He wasn't last season. He wasn't as bad as Reagor during his time here was a lot worse than what Quez was. So I wouldn't say Quez was like I wouldn't say there isn't anywhere to go but up for Quez. I think there is definitely a case where he's even worse. So I wouldn't go that far.
Didn't he
I
only
but
have like 200 yards or something?
yeah, but on a team where you're the fourth or fifth option in the receiving game, like I don't there were catches where he had to he had to step up and make a play, and he made some plays during last year. So um Philly Sports with Big asks, are you guys concerned about starters not playing at all in the preseason? I had this bad feeling that week one will be penalty city. I This is how it's been though for the past few years, so I'm not worried because it's an expectation now. You get what I'm saying? I think we talked about this last week too. We all agreed like we want them to stay healthy. So just if you don't play them and you work out the rust in the first couple of weeks of the season, so be it. But it's just the expectation now. That's how it's been.
Did it affect anything last year? That's all I have to say.
Yeah, exactly.
You went to the Super Bowl last year. Preseason is stupid. They don't care about it anymore. What they really care about is the practices, against other teams. Like that's their preseason game. So that's what matters to them. They don't give a preseason is for like the guys who are trying to get roster spots 50 through 53. That's what they're doing.
Yeah. John Adcock says, I won't be surprised to see Swift or Gainwell at wide receiver 3 times. Both can catch. Yeah, absolutely. I do expect. I hope for it. I won't say I expect it because I've wanted more running back usage in the receiving game for years, and I haven't gotten it. So you can't blame me for kind of being a little scarred and being pessimistic when it comes to the
that
matter.
wheel route they were practicing. That's what I want to see.
Yeah. I want to see that come back.
One of my favorite football plays.
The wheel route is like my favorite route for a running back. It's between wheel route and angle route. I would say wheel route, but man, there are some times where I love just that angle route coming out of the backfield. I miss
favorite
that.
plays
But,
in Madden. It's so much fun because if it doesn't work, you're screwed. But when it works, it's beautiful.
Oh, it's a thing of beauty. It's a thing of beauty. It's so much fun to run. I absolutely agree. Johnny Acevedo, what up, Johnny? I haven't talked to him in a while. He says Eagle safeties will disappoint. So he's lower on the safeties. I love Sidney Brown. PY loves Reed. So I hope they don't disappoint. He also says Penny, LOL, is anyone really expecting much out of him? There are people, like I said, that do expect Penny to have an impact. And especially when we first signed him. I remember that was like, oh my God, Penny behind this O-line is gonna feast. And I don't know. I just think it's disappointing. Screen. Oh, blew it up. Good.
If he's healthy, I mean, I don't think he's gonna suck. I think he'll play well.
Yeah, I think he'll play well. I think he'll play well. Let's see. John Hasselbeck also says one trick pony Watkins. Yeah, he's a one trick pony. I've said this before. For some reason, they give him like these end arounds and like wide receiver screens. I don't think Quez Watkins is a good runner. I don't think he's good at yak. I don't think that's him.
I don't mind him if you're using wide receiver screens because he's shown that like he can get there on that play. Like it's the crossing routes in the middle of the field crap with him that just make me scratch my freaking head.
I don't know. Like his first play in his career that was huge was that touchdown on the wide receiver screen 2 years ago against the Cardinals because he hit that awesome spin move. But ever since then, he hasn't had a good like yak play ever since then. That's been the only one. So I don't know. I don't expect much of it. I don't expect. John Adcock says you cannot trust any wide receiver 3 in Philly. You just can't. John Acevedo clears out. He says disappointment player will be Reed Blankenship. So he is not high. He's not high on Reed. I have my concerns. I don't see it with Reed, but we'll see.
Excuse me. That's all pro Reed Blankenship.
He also says, I just saw Sidney Brown miss a one-on-one tackle versus a fourth-string tight end.
Oh, my God. That's going to happen.
It's going to happen. But like I said, he's going to the good will outweigh the bad for Sidney Brown early in the season, and as the season goes on, he's going to start limiting those. So I'm not too worried about him as the season goes. Like a lot of people compare him to Talanoa Hufanga. Talanoa Hufanga plays very similarly. They put him in there, and he learned along the way. You know what I mean? So, um, I think that it's he's going to be fine. I think Sidney Brown's going to be fine.
You have an elite pass rush. You have an amazing cornerback room. Like that's going to help mask any issues you're going to have at safety, if there is any.
Yeah. Ryan Zokos, can you guys see Stolkett getting 40 catches even Goddard stays healthy? I don't think so. I don't think they're going to really I don't think they're going to. I don't think he's just going to get the opportunities. I don't see.
If Stoll has 40 catches, something went really wrong.
Yeah, I think something went wrong.
Like Dallas Goedert's butt cheeks exploded in a game, and he needed to
Yeah. Johnny says, "Love y'all's takes. Keep it going. Go Birds." Thank you, Johnny. Go Birds. I'll talk to you soon. John Eckhart says, "You're surprised the third-round rookie is still working through the kinks. You see how he plays." Yeah. I think I'm not worried. I'm not worried. Before we move on and start talking about other stuff, let's get to one of our reads. We have a new read now. It's called they are hats.com. In 2018, Eagles legend Brian Dawkins was inducted into the Hall of Fame. To commemorate this moment, B-Doc designed and launched an exclusive collaboration with Bowman Hat Company, America's oldest hat maker, on hats.com. Brian's love of hats and the Eagles on proud display in Canton. And now you can find yourself in the iconic Hall of Fame fedora. Just go to hats.com and search Brian Dawkins and use the code Philly for 15% off your order. Again, that's PHILLY for 15% off your order. All right, so go over to hats.com, guys. Get that fedora. I used to wear fedoras. I can't pull them off anymore. I can't pull off fedoras. So if you can, kudos to you. So guys, if you still have takes, still have questions, stuff you want to talk about when it comes to Eagles, definitely send them along. We'll continue the conversation. We got about 15-ish more minutes before the show. But let's talk about let's go league wide. Okay, let's start talking league wide. Oh my God, look who it is! What up, buddy?
What's up, boys?
Hey, what brings you on, Mr. Birds of a Feather alum?
So I'm not staying long. Just want to pop on, say hello. It's been a while.
Yeah.
And a little surprise announcement for you boys.
What's
you
up?
Remove the alum. I'm coming back to Birds of a Feather starting September 5th.
Oh!
So we're doing a little bit of a shake-up on some things. So it's only during the season. I go back to Wednesday nights after that.
Okay.
But during the season, I will be back with you guys when you switch over your nights starting September 5th. So
look at that.
You boys coming home?
Heck yeah. I am so excited.
Pete was right. There would be surprises.
Yeah, so listen, get ready because I'm here to stir shit up.
Hey, that's my gimmick.
Well, sorry, Pete. Somebody's got to come in and right the ship, and I'm ready to do it. I'm going to tug on Chuck's tape over there and get him.
What's he doing? He's stealing my shit.
It's going to be over. And you know what? You haven't experienced it yet with me, Pete. So anyway, I just wanted to come on.
Irritate everyone. Who cares?
We wanted to come on, give you guys a special little surprise. I don't think Jake knows. Pete's the only one that knew ahead of time.
That's what he was alluding to. He mentioned something that there could be a big surprise on the show. So so that's what he was alluding to. That mother effer.
Yeah. So well, we just kind of worked it out last night. So anyway. Mm-hmm. September 5th, I'll be back. Get ready to talk some football. Get ready for me to drive you guys up a wall. I want arguments. I want disagreements. I'm going to push the envelope with you guys, and we're going to get this going. We're going to have a good time this season. back to the old days, taking it back. For the fan, by the fan, no agendas. We're just going to tear each other apart. So
Hell yeah.
I'll be back. And anyway, I figure I'll jump in for a couple minutes of conversation. One thing I'll tell you, if I never see Marcus Mariota put an Eagles jersey on again, I will be the happiest man alive.
Show some respect.
That's a bum.
He needs a nice standing ovation, okay?
No,
Oh
he
my
needs to
God.
stand up and use his 2 legs and walk out of the facility and never come back.
Oh my God. Well, while we have you on, why don't you answer the poll question then, Chrome?
Sure.
Are you comfortable with the Eagles safety stars as they are now? We're under the assumption that Reed Blankenship and Sidney Brown will be the starters to start the year. So if those two are you okay with that, or would you prefer to bring in someone else?
No, I am. If you want to go out and you want to look at depth moves, there's going to be a couple of names I'm sure that are going to be out there that are going to be end of camp casualties. We see it every year. Howie snags 1 or 2 of those guys. So, if it's something they're not confident in, but to me, I thought Reed looked very, very good last year. I'm very happy with him. I think Sidney's going to be a player. So no, I'm not overly concerned. And the fact that you have the secondary that you have, the fact that you have the defensive front that you have, I mean, there's going to be plenty of support surrounding them, and the linebacker core is strong. Guys, one thing we got to remember here, right? I said this to Chuck's, I think, before. I think there's a reason why C.J. Gardner-Johnson had a hard time finding a job. And if you look at the numbers, a lot of his success, there's a strong argument that could be made that it is because of him having Darius Slay and James Bradbury flanking the corners. So I see no reason why these 2 guys can't benefit from having one of the best secondaries in football and a strong linebacking core around them. So, no, I'm not concerned at all. If they want to grab an extra guy, sure, why not? But I feel very confident defensively with how this team is lining up right now.
Good. If there was one, we asked this question too. If there was one person you'd say, you can do offense or defense, whichever one, because we only did offense, but offense or defense. If there's one player that's kind of flying under the radar, whose name you don't hear often as one of like the stars, but that you think flying under the radar that could make a pretty significant impact on the team this season, who would you pick? I had gone Zacchaeus. And PY, who's your answer?
I say Gainwell.
Gainwell. You said Gainwell, even though I didn't count that because I think we all kind of expect Gainwell to be kind of in the lead with Swift. So who would you pick, offense or defense?
So mine's not a guy necessarily that's going to start. Mine is more of, I think and a lot of people aren't probably going to enjoy that I'm going here, but it's proven that you need to address this. I actually really like McKee for a backup quarterback here. I don't think they need to go out and sign anybody. I don't think they need Marcus Mariota. I think this kid has the potential to be a really strong backup in this league.
Yeah.
And I feel confident enough that if it came down to it, if he had to take a couple reps or come in garbage time, I'd be fine with him. So if that's a name I'm looking at, because I think nobody's really suspecting anybody to take the job from Mariota.
Yeah.
Even though he stinks out loud. Like, you can actually hear how much he stinks. So that's really, I mean, honestly, when we're talking about guys that, like, do I think could have a more important role, I would slot him at QB too, personally.
Yeah. So if he had to come and say, like, it's similar to last year, say Jalen Hurts goes down, is out for 2 games, and he has to start, McKee has to start 2, or not start, but has to come in and play significantly for 2 games roughly.
I'd be fine with that.
You think he can pull out 2 wins or 1 win?
I think he could pull 1 out.
1 out. Yeah.
I think anybody can win on any given Sunday. So could he do 2? Yes. I would feel confident enough that he'll probably at least get 1.
That 1, yeah.
And I mean, it depends on the point in the schedule as well. Let's be real, right?
That's very good point.
Especially we get to that second half of the schedule where it starts really getting.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to get Mahomes, totally.
Hey,
that would be. Oh my god. But I am impressed. I like that answer with McKee because with Sirianni, he already kind of said that. Oh, Mariota is the backup. He said that last week after the preseason game.
No, you need Nick Foles.
And man, like I think McKee, like realistically, I do think obviously they're gonna stick with Mariota as the backup. But I've seen stuff from McKee where I'm like, yeah, if he had to play 2 games, I'd be okay with him. I think there's a chance he could win one.
I don't feel good with Mariota at all.
Yeah, he looks like
He looks like he's washed.
I think Jake brought it up because if you watch that the quarterback series on Netflix, it's like he's just not into it anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know about that, and like, I think last year was the first time I was like, Mariota doesn't look good at all, and that's kind of carried over to now. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't look good in Atlanta. He just so like with the Mariota we're seeing, this is like what we kind of saw late last year when he got pulled for Ritter. So I'm surprised that on a better team he hasn't kind of like been like a little bit rejuvenated. He's kind of just like that downturn has kind of hit and continued. So
I've never been a Mariota guy to begin with. You know this?
I remember. Yeah, I know that. Yeah,
about it. And I don't think the Eagles did him any favors in terms of my favor by trying to give away 3 years worth of draft picks to get him, like a Ricky Williams trade. Automatically, I didn't care when or where or how much it cost. I never want to see him in an Eagles jersey. And the fact that he stinks now, like this dude is washed. I don't care what anybody says. If anything, he can contribute anything. He can run a little bit. Maybe he has a little bit of time left. He could be a tight end. Because I see nothing else from this guy. I don't think he's a good passer in any way, shape, or form. He misses a lot of passes. You know, I thought he came out the first preseason game and he looked decent early on in the first quarter, but I feel like the wheels started to come off and he was done after that. I haven't seen anything ever since. So, yeah, no. And I'll tell you what, I don't need Nick Foles, Pete, but you can book it here. If he's available, I wouldn't even think twice about bringing Carson Wentz back to be your backup quarterback.
No, you said that.
I would sign Carson Wentz before I would sign Nick Foles. I will
no issue on that Carson Wentz hill. That with what's available now, if like you say you were to cut Mariota and they wanted to go and bring in a veteran, I don't even think it's a question. I would bring in Carson. I wouldn't even.
I just like the chaos.
The chaos there would be.
Can you imagine that?
There's no chaos though.
Jay it would do nothing to Hurts. Like he'd be like, I don't give a shit. Here you go.
Oh, yeah,
You're exactly right.
You know what he would do? The next year, Jay would just be like, all right, I'm changing my number to 11. This is what's happening.
Well, you're exactly right because you have the quarterback in place. You have not the quarterback. You have the team leader, the face of the franchise in place right now, who does not get deterred by anything.
Yeah.
That kid stays the course. He has a goal, and he focuses on it, and he doesn't lose it. Who's that scored?
Run it back!
No, stepped out.
Stepped out, yeah.
Who was that?
It is. Who's 49? I don't know who 49 is.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I hate that they let them wear any number now. At least it would give me an idea of their position.
Oh, yeah, what it was. Yeah, you got like Dan Arnold, the tight end, wearing 42. 42 or 40 something. It's odd. Yeah.
I'm not sure if you guys saw the report earlier for all the
Maddox Williams,
the Jonathan Taylor hopefuls out there. Jonathan Taylor and his representatives are pushing hard for a move to Miami to where he will take less money to go to Miami. He would like.
It makes sense. It makes sense because Miami's been wanting a running back.
He wants an extension, but he will take less money than what he would have expected from the Colts or anyone else in order to facilitate a deal to get to Miami. So, I think we can. Our dream of having a Taylor Swift backfield is gone.
I'll never give up on T Swizzle.
I'll tell you what, as an avid Swiftie myself, I would have been all for it. I know my game day hype music would have been a Taylor Swift playlist. I'm telling you right now. But
oh my god,
seems like that dream is going to be out the window, boys. But it was nice to think about it, you know.
Yeah. I would have loved him too. Obviously, I would have loved him, but I did not think it was a realistic scenario, despite
You
all
never
the
know with
all
Howie.
the
Like
rumors
anything's
of
possible.
insiders online saying, "Oh, they're aggressively seeking it."
I just
My
don't know what you
sources
give
say
up.
that your sources are full of shit.
I just don't know what you give up to get them. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I don't want to give away the draft picks next year.
Mhm.
Like, we're getting down to crunch time. We're going to need to start filling some of these guys in, right? And I think we
Yeah.
did an excellent job this year, did an excellent job last year, kind of prepping for, well, the last really 3 years for this old guard to start flipping over, right?
Yeah.
So we need to have that kind of draft capital to be able to do that. Anyone else feel Joshua has a career year? Nah, I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think it's more like I think he'll get double digits again.
Yeah.
But I don't think
Yeah.
18 and a half is a lot.
Jalen
That's a
Carter, I think, is going to
lot.
be an absolute monster.
Oh, he's going to be a monster.
He's so pretty. I
you'll
love him
be
so
monster.
much.
Comeback player of the year this year.
Who?
Who am I talking about, Chuck, sir?
I don't remember who you're talking about.
Who's my boy that everybody thought he was done after his injury last year and his contract was up?
Are you talking about Eagles?
Oh, yeah. Defensive end.
Oh no! Oh my God! I'm
Not
even
Derek
thinking
Barnett. You
that.
can't be serious.
Yeah, he's a Derek Barnetty.
Derek
He was-
Barnett.
he was-
Always
double-
him, bro. Like, come
double
on.
digit sacks this year. Book it.
I'll make a bet to whatever you want. Whatever you want. I'll make it right here, right now.
Double digit sacks.
What do you want? I will make the bet right now on air.
No, we're just going to have a friendly thing. Listen, I just like to have these moments where I can shove it down your throat for the next 3 years. And I don't hesitate to do it either.
I mean, it sure as hell won't be with Derek fucking Barnett.
You'd be surprised how many of my hot takes or not hot takes. I don't really do hot takes. How many of my bold predictions I get right. I had nailed all of them last year when everybody laughed at me.
What were your predictions last year?
Well, I said Jalen was going to be a top 5 MVP candidate. I also said that Jalen, well, I didn't hit this one, but it's only because he missed 2 games because he was only like 180 or 200 something yards away. He would have did it, which was his passing yards were going to go over 4,000. I nailed that one. I can't remember the other one, but I know I nailed it. It was something defensively. Might have been something about Bradbury. So,
Bradbury? Was it something about Bradbury?
well, it was on the other show. It was on the Wednesday night show.
Yeah.
But
So God.
and also who nailed Jordan Mailata from day one? I mean, other than
Oh yeah, you did. I wasn't against it either. I just said it was going to take some time, which it did. But I was.
told him
It took like 3 years of phantom back injuries.
I told Jordan Mailata he's my son to his face.
I remember that. That was great. So God did ask. Someone offered Saquon and Evan Ingram for Najee and Hawkinson in his half PPR league. Should he do it? It's so close. I've been thinking about it the past minute, and I'm like,
yes.
Oh no, the other white guy's in. No.
Okay. So God, if this is redraft, I would take Saquon. So I would do the deal. But if this is dynasty, I'm going with Najee because I think Najee, with him being younger, you're going to get more longevity out of Najee. Between Evan Ingram and Hawkinson, I think Hawkinson's the better tight end, but that's what it comes down to. So if you're doing redraft, take Saquon. If you're doing dynasty, take Najee.
See, I look at it differently. I think depending on what your roster looks like, right? To me, I'm worried. I do take into consideration dynasty, but at the end of the day, you have a chance to win this year, and I'm a believer that Saquon will stay healthy. That Saquon, if he's healthy, is a top 2 or 3 running back in this league.
Yeah.
And I'm also a huge believer that Trevor Lawrence is going to make that leap this year. And Evan Ingram was huge for them last year, and I expect even better things. So when I'm looking, and like Hawkinson to me is kind of, he's iffy. I used to draft him all the time, but he was always kind of iffy. You know,
he did well. He did well when he got traded to the Vikings, though. So that's where I'm like,
right. But
they could increase his workload. But I get what you're saying, and I think Saquon definitely is the better running back.
I still think he was too inconsistent. To me, I'm looking at the guys who I really, really believe are going to be big players in fantasy this year, and Saquon and Evan Ingram, to me, Evan Ingram is like sneaky top second tier. Like obviously you have the Kittles and the Mark Andrews and guys like that. But to me,
and Goddard and
I think Evan Ingram is a better pick than better value pick than a Dallas Goddard is. I really do. So he's kind of like, you remember Chuck's, we used to talk about this. It was like everybody takes everyone else. I'll sit back and I'll take Dak Prescott or Phillip Rivers because they're just going to put the same thing up every week. That's Evan Ingram.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love Evan Ingram. So he said, wait, I got rewind. I just rejoined. I didn't hear what you said. So do the trade right now. Yeah, I'd say do the trade. I do the trade.
Chuck said if it is a redraft league,
do it.
Definitely do the trade. He said if it's a dynasty league, you may want to think about it.
Because of the longevity with Najee, yeah.
Because Najee obviously has a dynasty value. I say screw it either way. Do the trade. I think you get the two best. If you're getting Saquon, you're getting Evan Ingram. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be an MVP candidate. Those are, to me, that's the two best players in the trade.
So he says we draft every year. So yeah, you redraft, do the trade, pull the trigger.
Yep, that's a trade I would take.
Yep, trade it. Trade. All right. So no huddle. We're at the 1 hour mark, so we're gonna just top it off. Anything you guys want to add? Anything?
Listen, I'm going to jump off. I'm going to let you boys wrap up the show. I'll be back September 5th to start taking names, but I'll be taking receipts in the meantime. So anybody talks any shit in the meantime, I'll be back. So believe that.
It'll be good to have you back, buddy. I missed you. I'm excited.
I'm excited to come home and talk some football with you guys for a couple of months. I do want to say real quick, just a quick programming note. Obviously, if you're a wrestling fan, Bray Wyatt passed away today unexpectedly. Had heart issues. Then he had COVID, which created a heart attack. Anyway, tomorrow, I'm gonna also hop on with the guys, Pete, Butters, and Ritz over on In This Very Ring. We're gonna do a special episode to commemorate the career of Bray Wyatt. So if you're a wrestling fan, or even if you're not, someone else's, share it for us. Come and join us tomorrow night. And let's talk about Bray Wyatt, the great stuff he did. So I want to get that out there, give those guys a plug because it's a big thing that happened today, pro wrestling wise, and we want to make sure that we pay our respects. So, gentlemen, it was a pleasure. Thanks for letting me hop on. Thanks for letting me surprise you guys. I will talk to you soon. Go Birds.
Go Birds. See you in a couple weeks, buddy. That's exciting news. It's going to be – so even with all the excitement that I talked about earlier, it's even more excitement now. So we're going to be going 5 strong for Birds of a Feather. It's going to be a great season for us. No huddle. PY, did you watch Ahsoka?
No.
Oh, God damn. Okay. All right. Never mind about that. Oh yeah, because you never watched Rebels, so you don't really care. I don't know. There's not much. I mean, I've said a lot when it comes to the Trey Lance thing. If you want to see everything I have to say on the matter, just go to my Twitter, and just look at what everything I have to
put
say.
Anyone through that pain.
Too much. If you want to know what I say, like in a nutshell, I think the Niners effed up. I hope that Trey Lance gets traded to a team where he can actually grow and develop, and they're willing to be patient with him, which they should have been from the get-go because he needs time. He needs time and he needs reps. So, your Niners messed up, and yeah, that's my take in a nutshell. But for details, go to my Twitter. I got nothing else pretty much. I'm excited for the season to start.
Amen.
So, amen. All right, gentlemen. God. All right, fam. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of Birds of a Feather. We appreciate you. Thank you for our salutation, our siren song for Thursday nights as our last show on Thursday night. Again, we will be moving to Tuesday starting September 5th. No show next week. And then we are officially back on Tuesday, September 5th with the whole new panel. Again, myself, PY, we got OG Pete, Jake, and now as announced, Heel Chrome is back. Original host of Birds of a Feather is back during the football season. So we've got a lot of exciting stuff for you on Birds of a Feather for this season. Do not miss out. And definitely, guys, thank you so much for all the support you've given us during our time here on Thursdays. It's been fun doing live reaction shows, for Thursday Night Football and everything like that. It's been so much fun being on Thursdays, but we are so happy to be back on Tuesday nights too. We'll be doing a lot more heavily recaps of the Eagles games now that we're back on Tuesday nights, which is what we originally did. And so that's back in our wheelhouse. I'm very, very excited to see what we can do. For all of our sponsors, especially our main show sponsor, Baggio's Bread, thank you so much for sponsoring us. For all of our other sponsors, hats.com and Alonzi. For all you guys, thank you again for listening. For myself, Mr. PY, OGP, Jake, Heel Chrome, all of us, the rest on A2D. Make sure you catch all the shows almost every single day of the week. We've got a different show for you. So make sure you check out A2D Radio for all the other offerings we can offer. Until then, go Birds. This season is a couple weeks away. And the next time you see us, we'll be giving our season predictions. But until then, God bless. Be safe. Peace out.